What it do, baby boo boo? How you doing? It's your boy, C-Zar. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good. Okay, it's a good day. I hope everybody's relaxing on this Saturday and having a good time with your morning coffee, or maybe it's brunch for you. Maybe it's lunch or dinner. I don't know. Wherever you are in the world, I hope it's warm and relaxing and good, whatever it is that you're doing. Anyways, hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Here we are at about 68.4K with roughly 8 hours left in the day. Let's dive into this and do some TA. Right off the bat, what I will say is that the past 3 days, we've been moving up. We've been moving up and kind of counter to what my own expectations have been. Obviously, the overall expectation that I have kind of set forth here is that until probably sometime in April or even May, we're more or less going to be moving sideways. Get real cozy in this range. It's going to be real boring for about another quarter of a year. What, it's February. It's almost March. I guess not. Like 2 more months. 2 more months, maybe. Maybe more. Maybe 3 months. So regardless of the short-term stuff doing what we intended to do or not doing what we intended to do, it's all just the same mess that's going to take place over the next 2 to 3 months here. Anyways, let's get into the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom back out. Okay, looking at the 1 hour time frame here, I was calling for this to be a bull trap. It looked like a bull trap to me. It seemed appropriate. The volume was lacking and everything, and then we started to dump with size. We did dump down pretty hard. This looked like a pretty aggressive bull trap at first, but guess what? The bull trap was actually a bear trap, and now we're moving back up. It's kind of interesting. Wouldn't it be funny if here where I thought the trap was set, that was the bull trap, or that was a bear trap instead of a bull trap, and now that you have your higher highs, now this is where you go down. You had to fake people out first before you actually went higher, or before you went lower. Just like here, you had to get that slightly lower low before you went higher. Anyways, looking at the 1 hour RSI, we are looking good here. I have to say we are looking pretty good. A little bit of divergence, I suppose, but I don't know. I wouldn't call that divergence, actually. Some people might, right? Like, this to me is not divergence because you've got all these highs in the way here. It's not quite that cut and dry, but they're too far apart, right? This is still a higher high than this high, than this high. You're not diverging from this move. You're diverging from this point, but I don't think that really matters. You look good. You do. You look good. My one point of contention, something that I'm a little concerned about, I guess, would be the volume, the lack of volume. Whenever we try to move up and there's less volume, I mean, the last time that we did that, we moved up and there was just no volume at all. You saw what happened afterwards, right? It didn't last long. We did move. We did recover. Again, we had a little bit of volume on that recovery. We have no volume here. This to me seems like a fake out. I don't know. I might sound crazy, but I think what we had here was a bull trap, which turned into a bear trap, which is now another bull trap. I think it's all just a trap city. It's good for trading if you're on the right side of this volatility, but it's very bad for your mental sanity if you are not on the right side of this volatility. And I do think that we're about to go down. I very strongly do believe that we're going to see lower lows still. But what we're doing here, let's be candid about this. What we're doing here does up the chances. It does up the chances. It means what we've done over the past 3 days increases the likelihood that this is the low and that we don't go below this low. I'm not convinced. I still think we're more likely to go below this low, but that likelihood has diminished because of what we've done over the past few days. Because technically, what we're doing right now, we look at this on the 1 hour time frame. Technically, what we're doing is we're forming higher lows. That's not a problem. Yes, we have lower highs too, but that's not a problem. It's definitely different than what I was expecting it to be, at least over the past 3 days. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, the RSI here rejecting the overbought zone makes me think you come down a little bit. Overall, you look pretty good right here, though. You were bearish, but I mean, just this reversal right here is exactly what you needed. As long as you're hanging out above the 50, I think you're in good shape. If you dip below the 50, that's okay. But if you start living below the 50, if we start getting oversold and we're living below the 50, that's how we know that this, in fact, was a bull trap right here, overall, right here. And we'll probably know that within the next 2 days. We'll probably get some further confirmation on if this is reliable to move higher or if we're going to move lower here over the next couple of days. Because it's the weekend, because it's Saturday and we're moving up, we're going to leave a CME gap below us. So I think that creates a premise for going lower already sometime next week. Typically, when Bitcoin moves up over the weekend, we do move back down over the week. What's going on? Dude, hold on. Something is going on here. Hold on. I thought this thing was on. Don't worry about it. Don't worry what it was. Anyways, stochastics are hot. They can come down. You reset. You can come back down. Sure. The MACD looks good. The MACD does look good on the 1 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame here, the MACD looks more at a position to reject, if we're being honest, which does not look good. The RSI is also at the same areas that it's found resistance, I mean, really, since the middle of January, which is not good. The RSI overall does look weak, but what I will say is here you can see where you're clearly in the weakness. You're a lot more neutral here, right? You're not bullish. You're not bullish at all. But the fact that you've transitioned from bearish to neutral is somewhat bullish, right? Like if it's on a whole scale, if you're at the lower end of that scale, you're on the bearish end. You might not be bullish, but you're still seeing some progress. We're still seeing some progress here in the RSI, and maybe we come down a little bit, but this could be getting us set up for something higher in the long run. You know, we might have some kind of uptrend here that's not very well established yet, but will play out maybe over the week to come. We'll see. But the 4 hour overall is neutral with the bearishness beforehand. I'm going to take the bearish stance on that. If we're in a neutral, I'll go with what's before. The stochastics are reset. We're at the overbought zone. The last time we were overbought here was a high point. The time before that we were overbought here was a high point. The time before that we were overbought here was a high point of its local consolidation phase. The time before that we were overbought was a high point here of its local consolidation phase. It keeps going on, right? And beyond that, again, the RSI is at the same levels that we found once, twice, 3 times, 4 times now that we have rejected throughout this range and even before this range. And the MACD with the with the oscillators here, you know, we've rejected this area once already, twice already. Is this going to be a third time? I think it could be. I really think it could be, right? I'm not amused, in other words. But if we can keep pushing higher, if we can, let's see, what would amuse me? Low to high. Do I want that? I want this high. I don't want the fake out high. Yeah, get above $69,000. Then I'd be amused. If we can close any given day above 69K, I'd be amused. Until then, not amused. Till then, this is just potential dump waiting to happen. Again, my overall perspective is that from here, we are going to establish a range, and we have been establishing it, much like what we did back here. We established this range. My thoughts are, you know, we put this in a box, and then we compare it to what we're going to see here. I'm thinking that this range is going to be bigger, both bigger overall from a height to low wise. It's going to be a bigger range, and longer. It's going to be an overall much. You see, kind of like the size difference. I'm going for a much larger range here, and we've been tightening, and it might not be this big. It might not be this big, but still larger than what we saw back here. We've been in a very condensed and kind of tight range here, and this is why I think it's going to really, really scare people when we see a lower low, and then it's going to really, really get people excited whenever we get above these areas, right? The bear market's over, we're prevailing, but really it's like we're probably just going to be all in the same screwy range until April or May, likely May, and then dump off there. With that being said, I don't want to do this. Maybe I'll do this as we get closer to May. But typically, the whole sell in May and go away thing, it actually doesn't work for Bitcoin. It's more of a sell in June and go away type of thing. That doesn't line up with the time frame that I'm thinking of, selling off in June. But hey, man, if we're consolidating until then, understand, guys, what I'm trying to say right now is we could be in this very boring at times, very exciting at times, very depressing at times range. We can be in this range until June. Bitcoin can be very. You don't think it can? Do you not think it can? Let's go back in time, right? Let's look at this. Look at how boring you were here from March until October. You didn't break out of this range from March until October. Okay? You didn't break out of this range here. Look at how much in the range that I'm drawing here. It's about similar in size here. You didn't break out of this range. This was in the bull market from March until October. Okay? I don't know about you guys, but it's almost March. Talking about breaking out to the upside or the downside in April or May instead of October is actually short in comparison to some of these ranges, right? Let alone June. We go to the last bear market here. You consolidated from January. You didn't break out until May. January to May. It's February. February to June, it's the same time frame. Right? Here, you were consolidating a much larger range than what we had back here, and a lot longer too. You consolidated from June until November. Very boring. Very boring. The prior bear market, look at how boring this whole, I mean, dude, you were range bound for this long, and it only got more boring as time went on. Okay? So again, what I'm trying to do right now is prepare you all mentally for what's to come. Okay? You might be hearing this and thinking, crypto's boring, what are we doing here? No, that's exactly the point. If it's going to be boring, what you need to be doing is probably not be investing in crypto. Just save your cash. You want to invest in crypto, wait for the low points. If you feel euphoric, you feel that FOMO, like you're missing out on something, that's how you know it's a bad time to invest. If it seems depressed, if it seems fearful, or people are panicking, they think that we're going to go below 20K, you hear Bitcoin's going to go to zero, MicroStrategy is going to default, all those narratives are super loud, being screamed from the top of their lungs by people who don't know what they're talking about, that's the time to buy. Right now, we're not really in either of those moments. We're in a bit of a clash. Right? We're in this in-between zone. There's people who are saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, but really it's like, we're just going to do this. We're going to keep doing this for months. Okay? I mean, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Daily time frame here. RSI looking a little perkier. I'm not going to lie. It's it looks a little better, but still, we have a high here, a lower high here, and another lower high here with a higher high, and another higher high. That's hidden. That's double. That's hidden double bearish divergence, right? It's double bearish divergence, the hidden variety. The MACD is overall still bearish. You have hidden bearish divergence on there as well. Stochastics are still at an area to reject. Overall, I'm not impressed. But again, if we can close, we're only like $600 away. If we can close above 69K, at that point, I might start to really consider breaking out of this to the upside instead of us seeing a lower low. By the way, my friends, by the way, we can break out of this to the upside and still come down later and see a lower low. We can still do that, okay? So just because we break out doesn't mean we're absolved of that, right? We've seen this kind of stuff before, right? Here, you had your little consolidation phase. You're moving up to the upside here. You're breaking out, and then boom, you went down. Here, you had a fantastic move, a fantastic pump up, a V-shaped recovery, and you still went down to a lower low, right? Here, you broke out. You had a fake out of your downward sloping range here, and you still saw a lower low, okay? Here, look at this. You had your range right here, right there, bam. You broke out of it, and you still came down and found a lower low right there, okay? So we can break out of this and still see a lower low. Bitcoin can tease us that way, and I wouldn't be too thrown off if it did, but that's not my expectation. My expectation right now is we probably do find resistance somewhere exactly where we are now. We can get above 70K, we can get above 69K, and it still doesn't matter if we're not closing above there. If we close above 69K, that's when we start to get bullish. Until then, skeptical, very skeptical. There are bearish readings all around the board, and we are actually at a good point to reject. I think we will. And once we take out these lows, I would imagine it's going to be a very quick, a very short amount of time it takes to get from this point here of about 65, 66K down here toward this low, if not below this low. There is a chance that we could find a slightly higher low. There is a chance, but I'm still sticking with the downside. I think we'll go between about 58.8K and 54K, somewhere in that range. I don't have anything else that I want to say. I might make a longer video on bear market dynamics here pretty soon, just talking about this consolidation phase and what we can expect and comparing it to other cycles. But I've got nothing else for now, so hit that like button, subscribe, enjoy your Saturday. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.